In the depths of the Pacific Northwest, you have high mountain peaks, giant trees, green interior, a beautiful coastline, rainy weather, and a whole lot of Antifa. This place is turning into a madhouse. Just 2 weeks ago, you had Andy No. He's in Portland, Oregon, just filming, minding his own business, and all of a sudden Antifa attacks him with quick drying cement laced milkshakes. He was severely beaten by the violent mob, causing a really bad brain injury, and then he also had a black eye while blood was dripping down his face. While all this was happening, the police, they just stood there. They didn't do nothing to protect a journalist. Now, as a result, more than half of America is completely outraged at the whole entire situation. I mean, you can't have journalists being beaten up in the street and have police watch do nothing about it. That means something to everybody. It means that we're not going to know the truth if, people like Antifa are going to go in the streets and behave that way. So, yeah, that's going to definitely stir up the pot with everybody in our country. Even Ted Cruz lately has called for legal action against Portland's mayor, Ted Wheeler, because, he's siding with Antifa. That's what everybody's assuming, because he's protecting them. Why is he not going after them? I mean, they can't just commit crimes and be violent and behave the way that they are.
People, all dressed in black and wearing masks, started beating me with their fists, and some of them used objects to hit me. I don't know how many people were involved. It seemed like 5, 10, 15, or 20. It could have been that many. They beat me so much that I lost control of my GoPro camera that I was holding, which was then stolen from me. And when I thought it was over, I was wrong. I put my arms up to try to shield my face, as well as to signal to them that I was surrendering and that I wasn't there to fight, but that really signaled to them to be more aggressive.
Portland seems to be the hotbed right now for this kind of stuff. Is that fair to say?
I think it is.
So is this the mayor? I mean, who's the one who's giving the orders to the police to tell them to allow this stuff to take place?
Well, I'm crowdfunding for the legal fund right now, and we are going to hold accountable whoever is responsible for dereliction of duty, where the evidence leads us. So Portland has an odd governance system in that the mayor, who is up for re-election, by the way, is also the police commissioner. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
How does that work?
It was an old system that it inherited, and it just never changed.
The mayor of Portland is literally acting like they are protecting Rose City Antifa, and that gets really, really worrisome, because if you're going to mix your own beliefs on identity politics and just go to that point, why even be a mayor? He really should resign. These mass cowards are trying to take over the city. That's what they're trying to do. They've literally bragged on Reddit forums about how they're taking over Portland and how they're taking over Vancouver and other parts of Oregon, other parts of Washington. It's crazy. They've literally blocked off a road that led to a hospital. Then they started directing traffic. Now, it's just completely messed up, because you're blocking the hospital where people are literally, they could be going there dying, and you could literally kill them because they can't get in the hospital the right time that they need to be in the hospital. But you have Antifa being allowed to do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, that's totally illegal. So, okay, let's say a normal parking ticket that you would get for blocking a driveway at somebody's house, that's about $100, okay? So think about a hospital blocking that. Well, that's definitely a worse violation. So yeah, that's a crime. But I guess Antifa, they could just do whatever they want, as long as they're fighting fascists, right? In Seattle, Washington, they have threatened the lives of innocent journalists and have practically mimicked the same exact style of behavior that Portland, Oregon has with their Antifa groups, just not as strong with the whole entire behavior pattern. They're a little more discreet, I would say, in Seattle, and the cops do a lot better. Now, over in Tacoma, Antifa, they've had a lot of violent clashes with everybody, and it kind of seems like the way it is with Seattle, the whole entire way it is with Portland, and even Berkeley in ways. I mean, they totally, I would say, they're not really powerful with numbers because Tacoma, it's a small place, and everything I think is a lot more spread out than Seattle, and especially like Portland. It's not really more of a closer city where everything's all tied in next to each other. You just kind of walk around. It's not really like that. Even though Tacoma, they don't really have the whole entire numbers that I would assume Portland and Seattle and other bigger cities have, they still had somebody that was still radicalized by everything that's going on. I would honestly blame the far left, and I don't want to blame somebody. I usually don't do that. I usually don't point the finger, but I do blame the far left. I do, because of all the lies that you're spreading in our country. See what's happening? It's having a ripple effect in very negative ways. Now, what I mean, I want to get further into this before you get too lost about what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a man that decided to do something very, very bad on Saturday. And, you know, this is because of Antifa and their actions as well, because he was part of that group. At 4 a.m., an armed man in his late 60s, he was attempting to bring a bunch of firearms and use them at an ICE detention center. So I don't know exactly why he wanted to use them, but he ended up destroying this car. No one is exactly sure what motivated him and why he really did this. I mean, he was kind of saying that he did think that it was identical to a concentration camp. Then you have people like Alexandria Cortez and very high-profile Democrats that are very well known sharing that, saying that, you know, ICE detention center camps are very similar to what a concentration camp is, and that's not true at all. If you looked in history, if you ever read history, especially with, you know, all of that, I don't even want to say certain words that I know will trigger things on YouTube, because if I say even stuff about history, all of a sudden, boom, my channel could literally be gone. When police arrived, when the man was freaking out, throwing fire bombs, and he also had the rifle on him too, so he was well armed, they shot him on spot. They had no idea what he was going to do. He's already throwing weapons, and he's doing that where migrants are. I mean, you can't have innocent people that are going to be hurt. Everybody there is innocent, but even ones that, you know, he's trying to protect too. It's kind of screwed up. Everything is so screwed up. It's really bad. Life can be dark. So yeah, now you have an Antifa member that ended up dead literally because of all these political nonsense. It doesn't even like matter at the end of the day. When you make your country better, that's what we should be focusing on. We should be focusing on solutions, not problems. And this is just like another huge problem. As far as I know, this has been the most dramatic escalation in our culture, literally. In modern day society, with everything that's going on, nothing has happened this bad in my whole entire opinion, because you haven't had something where somebody is showing up and they think that they're going to do something about that. I think that when you had New Zealand, it's very similar. But here in the United States, this is the first time anything like this has ever happened because of politics, because of identity politics, because of anything like Antifa or anything in the culture war. This is the first time. Just during this month, it seems that Antifa, far-left activists, Democrats, all of them together, they're acting more radical than they ever have. Look at what happened in Tacoma. I mean, don't you think that the mainstream media's lies are starting to brainwash people just a little bit? Lie after lie, day after day. I mean, I think it's starting to actually have an effect in some people's minds. I do think that with this case, I think that the man, he is more suicidal than actually being really focused on, you know, something politically, but still at the same time, he was there at the ICE detention center for a reason. We just don't know that reason. I almost want to blame people like Alexandria Cortez and high-profile Democrats that are well-known spreading the lies, saying that it's like exactly like a concentration camp. Every single day they're saying that, and they're spreading those lies. After the far left has spread these lies around the public, I feel like anti-ICE protesters, they went wild and they went crazy, and I don't blame them. I don't blame everything that somebody does. I think that they have their own reasons, and I think that they really do think what they're doing is good. So it's kind of a tough situation. But the people that are making up the lies, like AOC, I mean, what is she doing? Obviously, she knows it's not that. She knows what she's saying. She is a liar. She says that she doesn't have, any money, and she has little pictures of her shopping cart at the store acting like she's just buying ramen and a few things at the store and other stuff like that to show that she's just like everybody else. But she has an infinity pool when she's crying literally in this picture next to the border or whatever. Like, she's pretending to cry. Crocodile tears right there. She does not care. And the reason she's doing that is to make a whole entire stunt. All she wants is attention. After the left really spread these lies around and it finally reached the public, you had someone that actually reacted in a very negative way, proving what I said is right, that people will react to what, famous politicians are saying that have control and power in this country. Of course they'll react because they think, well, obviously, first of all, you are supposed to actually be more like a leader and be able to be mature, but you're not. You're not doing that. You're not being mature. I don't want to go on a rant because I could literally talk about Alexandria Cortez every single day. Like, there's something new every single day that she does, and she's actually kind of funny to talk about. But moving forward, back a few days ago, anti-ICE protesters literally pulled down an American flag, replacing it with a Mexico flag that they raised to the top. After they lifted up the Mexican flag and then basically said our country means nothing to them, that they don't care about our country at all, they decided that wasn't enough, that they had to vandalize a Blue Lives Matter flag, spray painting it and putting it upside down. This is just my own personal opinion, but I just wanted to say that you should just respect the flag or get out of our country. Because if you don't want to live here, if you don't want to be here, there's other countries for you. I'm sure they'll take you in if you have enough money. If you don't like it here and you truly hate your country, then we don't want your sorry ass anyways. How is it that a man was arrested almost a week ago in New York for burning a pride flag, but then you could do whatever you want to the American flag? You could disrespect it, you can burn it, you can, do whatever. It's disgusting. This is why I'm done, and I think basically everybody else is done with these whiny little protesters that don't care about our country. They don't want to have it improve. They want to be part of the problem, not the solution. And definitely Antifa. I mean, they are mascots of being the problem in our whole entire country. Once you start seeing everything that goes wrong, you look at Antifa and you realize that, yeah, this is what's wrong with our society. You see them doing drugs, you see them being in jail, have felonies, they're trying to sell weird stuff on the streets. These people have problems. Antifa is so bad that you're more likely to be attacked by them than actually attacked by a real life shark in the ocean. Sharks attacked about 16 people a year. Antifa in 1 year, they attack nearly 600 to 700 people. Do you know how many conservatives, Trump supporters, how many people at protest and just different groups, individuals that are attacked by them? It's much more greater than a shark. You could literally be safer on a roller coaster. You won't be stuck in the elevator as much. I mean, you won't get run over by a car. It's amazing how crazy Antifa is. Literally a shark. 16 times a year you'll have a shark attack in our whole entire country in the United States. I'm not talking about Australia. I'm not talking about anywhere else in the world. Just the US. But if you literally think about how many crimes and how many violent attacks Antifa's been with, literally, they are worse than sharks. They are worse than a great white shark. On that note, I'm gonna head out, but I'm gonna have another video coming very shortly. There's a lot of videos on my channel if you want to go check them out. And if you want to support this channel, then you could go down below to my bio, my PayPal, my subscribe stars. So I'll check you next time.